What's something you were told you would grow out of but never did? Acne. Being short. Video games and metal music. Cartoons. Fantasy novels. Some of them are written for adults. Gaming. My aversion to most social events. Cartoons are better as adults anyway because we can finally understand all the references we missed as kids. My parents literally think I've outgrown ADHD because adults can't have it. Skull. Procrastination. Social anxiety, it only got worse. Not knowing what the fuck I'm doing, rolling on the floor laughing. On my 10th birthday, which was Pokemon themed, my parents mocked me and said when I was an adult, I wouldn't even like Pokemon anymore. Well, I'm 29 now and still fucking love Pokemon. Sleeping, wanting to nap, being home doing nothing. The punk gothy culture of the 90s 2000s era. 30s and still rocking it. Messiness. I thought I would grow into a tidy adult. A-cups. Reading comics. I'm not a fanatical collector like I was in my teens, but I constantly borrow collections of classic reprints and graphic novels from the library. My third grade crush. Social awkwardness. Feeling a certain way about how I was treated by my shitty parents as a kid. Everyone told me someday I would grow up and understand and want a relationship with them. I see the situation more clearly now. To some extent I even understand why they are the way they are. A small part of me has even forgiven them. But I would never want to see or talk to them again. My life is happier and more fulfilling without them in it bringing me down all the time. Legos. Never gonna happen. At least now I get to share it with my kids though. Collecting rocks. I love rocks. I went for a hike the other day and came back with my pockets full of rocks and 2 big ones in my hands. I'm 31. Can't stop. Won't stop. Sensory issues. Bad posture. Was told it was due to insecurity. Depression. Lol. Metal music. I hated talking on the phone as a kid. I could be sitting next to it and would refuse to answer it. Pissed my mom off like crazy. Now, you can call but I ain't gonna answer. Leave a message and I'll text ya back later. In junior high school, my older sister told me, when you get to high school, you can't just do things the night before. I was still pulling all-nighters before deadlines into my mid-30s. Not wanting kids. I have never wanted kids. And everyone around me acted like I would change my mind or regret my decision, especially when I got my tubes tied. My husband and I are now solidly middle-aged, and still feel that not having kids was the best decision we ever made. Edit to note that my husband never got half the shit that I did when he said he didn't want kids. ADHD. Being a lesbian. I'm 51. Still a lesbian, mom. Not knowing what I wanted to do when I grew up. Video games. When I was a kid and wanted a Nintendo, I was told I would grow out of video games and shouldn't play them. I'm almost 47 now and I have more games than ever before and love them more than ever. And I have a Switch with Nintendo Switch Online so I can play the old Nintendo games that I missed playing as a kid. For me, it's definitely my fascination with science fiction and fantasy books. When I was younger, some people thought I'd grow out of reading these genres. But I'm still an avid fan. And those imaginative worlds continue to captivate me. Being gay. My one imagination. Goth stuff. Video games, heavy metal. Spelling mistakes. Metal, black, death, heavy, thrash, metal, red heart, sign of the horns. Wanting to be nice to people, especially people I don't know. When I was a kid, adults always told me I'd understand why they were mean, cruel to others when I got older. That I just hadn't experienced the real world. Turns out I still think they were just jaded jerks. Political views. Was always told I would become more conservative as I got older, and welp, they were wrong. Loving heavy music. I discovered it when I was 12 and have never stopped loving it. People always said I would grow up one day and listen to country like real adults do, but fuck that. I'm currently sitting in my classroom listening to the White Stripes and Alice in Chains. Sign of the horns. I've always been adamant that I do not want children. Honestly, still love Disney movies. Not to the same extent as before. I won't watch them over and over again. But if my little nieces are visiting, you better believe I'm watching Encanto with them. Lack of self-confidence plagues me to this day. Being a kid at heart. I'm 63 and still enjoy being a kid whenever I can. I can't help but grow older. You can't make me grow up. My love of dinosaurs. As a kid I cried over dinosaurs getting killed by a meteor, and now I still lose my mind when I get a news notification that they found a new dinosaur in China or Argentina or wherever. Even now, years later, I'm still a horrible cunt. Not wanting to have kids. Being liberal. I was told throughout my life that as I became more mature my outlook would become more conservative. Nope, if anything I'm more liberal than when I was young on most issues. And given the state of the GOP and what passes for conservative philosophy these days, I don't ever see that changing. Playing computer games. Being said I will grow tall and become skinny XD. Picking my nose. Music festivals. The older I get and the more money I make, the more festivals I want to go to. Yummy face. Liking trains and basically any of the stuff I was obsessed with as a kid that I still am. Lol. Eczema. Asthma. Piece o' shit. Not wanting children. Loving cats. Stuffed animals. Or as I called them, stuffies. I just an Among Us one for absolutely no reason. I'm fucking 14. My anti-social tendencies, whatever that means at this point. Riding my bike. My love for peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I've been eating them for 25 years and I still love them. Obsession with crafting. Not much. But I've become much sillier as I've aged. I'm cool with it. Cool with the whole midlife crisis thing too. It's underrated. Social anxiety. LMAO heart. Oh, it's just a phase. One used to have crushes on girls too. But that went away. Ah, no. I'm still very gay. Lol. Food aversions. Still get told I need to get over picky eating. Like I'm sorry, but squishy foods make me literally gag, as do most vegetables. I'd love to be able to eat normally and healthily. But I can't do that when the thought of putting the bad foods in my mouth fills me with panic. And actually doing so makes me have to choke down vomit. Ever since I was a kid I was in diaresis. Outcast diaresis. Mum's words, not mine. So the phase that was never a phase. And was just recently diagnosed autism. Skull and crossbones. Drawing. Out of all things, fucking drawing was it. You're too old for drawing. Or everything I liked. Gaming. Stuffed animals. Drawing. Etc. Not being a Tory. I think the assumption was that once I had a decent paying job, owned a house, etc., that I would resent paying more tax for public services and so would want to vote Tory. Joke's on them though. I haven't got a decent paying job or a house, and public services are on their knees. Ah ha 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 ha.